Hey guys, thanks for joining me again on this week's edition of Top 10 Lists. This week we have the top 10 scientific myths that you thought were true. Yeah, this is gonna be a good one. But before we get into all that, I wanna know, what is the most interesting thing you've ever learned in a science class? Let me know down there. Alright, let's get going. In our number 10 spot, we have the myth that 1 dog year is equivalent to 7 human years. I'm not gonna lie, this kinda shocked me because I grew up believing this. But a dog's age actually does depend on its size and breed. This myth goes as far back as 1268, and the tribe believed that dogs age at a 9-to-1 ratio to humans. Assuming humans live to be 90 and dogs live to be 9, centuries later scientists used average life expectancies of 70 to 10, and thus we have the 7-year rule. But then logic stepped in and it was painfully obvious that dogs grow and mature at an extremely fast rate during their first 2 years of life. They actually mature 15 to 20 times faster than the first year alone. Dogs are able to reproduce at the age of 1, and using the 7-to-1 ratio, that would mean a human would reproduce by the age of 7 years old and live to be 150. And as we all know, that's just not happening. Coming in at the number 9 spot, we have the myth that there's no gravity in space. I know, I'm pretty shocked too. But actually, there is gravity in space, and there's quite a lot of it. The reason astronauts appear to be weightless is because they are orbiting the Earth. Gravity doesn't just stop working once you get outside of the Earth's atmosphere. There's tons of gravity in space, which is exactly how astronauts float around outside the ship. They're getting caught in the Earth's gravity and begin to orbit around it. Virtually every area of space has gravity, and an object will be caught up in a larger object's gravitational pull. For example, when a shuttle reaches orbit height, which is about 250 miles above the Earth, gravity is only reduced by 10%. Next, the myth in our number 8 spot is that diamonds are made from coal. Actually, the only similarities made between coal and diamonds is that they are both made mostly of carbon. But most living things on the planet are made of carbon, so that's not much of a bond. But the carbon in diamonds has been confirmed to predate any living being on the planet, meaning that the diamonds humans mine for aren't derived from coal, which is mostly ancient plant material. But in millions and millions of years, coal could eventually become a diamond. But strangely enough, so could you and I. In our number 7 spot, we're talking about the dark side of the moon. No, not the Pink Floyd song, I'm talking about the actual dark side of our moon. Which, by the way, it doesn't exist. From what we can see from Earth, we view about 59% of the moon's surface. The remaining 41 is completely hidden from our vantage point. The remaining 41 must be hidden in freezing darkness, right? Well, not really. Sure, at any given moment there is a spot on the moon that isn't being hit by sunlight, but that spot is constantly rotating. The myth that there is a fixed area on the moon that is permanently dark, that's just not true. And at number 6, we have the 5-second rule. So this one is a lie that's pretty obvious. But most people, they don't want to believe it's true, because they want to think that even though they drop that handful of Sour Patch Kids, they can still pick it up and continue to eat it. Let's be real here, guys. If the floor has germs on it, and your food lands on the floor, then the germs will immediately stick to the food. Yeah, those germs, they don't take time to contemplate what they should do. They just latch right on. They don't wait 5 seconds. However, sometimes eating germs and dirt is not the worst thing in the world, because small amounts actually help us to develop a robust immune system, which is actually pretty good. Because the truth is, there are already millions of bacteria virtually on all of the food we eat anyways. Yum. Coming in at our number 5 spot, we have the myth that unprotected exposure in space will kill you. Okay, so this one, it's kinda true. But it's absolutely nothing like Hollywood movies and sci-fi movies claim it to be. You're not gonna pop or explode or anything. The truth is, humans can survive 15 to 30 seconds as long as they breathe out before the exposure. If not, the lungs will burst instantly. However, after about 30 seconds, the lack of oxygen causes unconsciousness, which eventually leads to death by asphyxiation. Oh, space. In our number 4 spot, we have the myth that antibiotics kill viruses. This one, it's pretty interesting. So by definition, antibiotics kill bacteria. However, the common cold and influenza are viruses and not in fact affected by antibiotics. Some people think that taking antibiotics could be helpful on some level and take them for a viral disease. And doing this could actually bring on even more problems. Taking antibiotics for an illness they aren't intended for could cause other common bacteria in the body to become drug resistant. This could create superbugs that cause a much worse illness than you originally had. Physicians are writing tens of billions of antibiotic prescriptions each year for illnesses that are viral. This is partly because there is an uncertainty of the cause, and also because patients are insistent on getting some medication. Some doctors are slightly more justified when prescribing antibiotics for a condition that can be bacterial or viral. In our number 3 spot, we have the myth that Everest is the world's largest mountain. Well, obviously since I just said a myth, obviously it's not. Everest is 8,848 meters, and to climb it is one of the greatest human achievements. But unfortunately, the people who have made this impressive climb and claim that they have conquered the world's tallest mountain, well, sadly, that would be incorrect. The actual tallest mountain in the world is Mauna Kea, which is a volcanic peak in Hawaii with a summit of 4,205 meters. Well, wait a minute, that's less than half the height of Everest. Oh, but I forgot to mention that number is only the amount of the volcano that's above sea level, because below that, this one goes all the way down to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. When measuring it fully from its base to its peak, it reaches almost 10,000 meters, making it the tallest mountain on the planet. In our number 2 spot, we have the fact that lightning never strikes in the same place twice. Well, actually, yes. Yes, it does. Trees and tall buildings are often repeatedly hit by lightning. In fact, the National Weather Service believes that the Empire State Building is hit by lightning around 25 times per year. During one really bad storm, it took 8 strikes in less than half an hour. Lightning is a huge electrostatic discharge that's searching for a way down. Obviously, larger objects such as trees and skyscrapers are perfect targets because it's a shorter distance for the lightning to travel. And not only does lightning strike twice, but it can also strike in 2 places at the same time. This has stuck around over the years as a saying to encourage people to try something more than once, trying to show someone that one bad experience is unlikely to be repeated. Well, I guess that's the end of that saying. Alright guys, so let's recap. We've talked about lightning, viruses, lifespans, the moon, diamonds, mountains, and gravity. Coming in at our number 1 spot, we have the myth that we only use 10% of our brain. It is true that there is a lot we don't know about the brain, but science has proven that we do in fact use all of our brain. Though our brain only weighs a couple of pounds, it is incredibly energetically demanding, as it uses 20% of the glucose and oxygen in our bodies. It is really unlikely that the brain would have evolved the way it has if only 10% worked. For example, any functions or tasks we perform constantly stimulates different parts of the brain. Also, when you consider head injuries, if this were true, then you'd be able to cut off the section that had just been injured and be able to walk around just fine afterwards. Obviously, that's not possible. There are movies such as Limitless that make it hard for people to see that this is only a myth, portraying that unlocking the extra 90% would make us able to learn languages in seconds and become instant experts at anything. Don't get me wrong, it would be so awesome if this was the case, but sadly, it's sci-fi lies. While we might not be using every bit of our brain at all times, we do use the entire brain over the course of a day. And there we have it, the top 10 scientific myths we thought were true. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments if there's any scientific myths that I missed. Also let me know down in the comments if there's any other top 10 lists you guys would like me to do. And I will see you guys in the next top 10 video. Bye! So make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family for more top 10 lists. We have more videos right over here for you guys, and you guys can follow me on Instagram at Court McGinley. Bye guys!